Well, Gordon Institute, or Gibs, has released a survey on mall shoppers and the culture of mall shopping. Kerry Chipp from the Gordon Institute of Business Science joins us now for more. Morning, Kerry. You've done some research on mall shoppers. I'm not sure how they differ from other shoppers who don't go to malls, but what was the aim of the survey, firstly?
Well, the aim of the survey is we saw there's very little information of shoppers. There's a lot on consumers, there's a lot on media, but to actually see what people do at point of purchase, there's a shortage of good quantitative data on what they do.
And what are your key findings, if you could just summarize those for us?
Well, to my surprise, I actually found that a lot of in-mall advertising works, because you often feel there's so much advertising going on and people block it out. But at point of purchase, people are rushed, people are deal prone, they like to see deals, and at that point, McKinsey calls it just-in-time advertising. Intervening then is very effective and it gets their attention and they buy.
You say one of your conclusions, in-mall marketing activities play a far larger role in unplanned purchases than do advertising. So this just-in-time, does that fit into that?
Yes,
In-market
that's that last mile. So when they're in the mall, what you do there stimulates the purchase.
Kerry, if we were to look at consumer behavior broadly, were there any deviations from traditional behavior that you've picked up in the study that are worth noting, in particular for retailers?
What I thought what was interesting was the business shopper. And they're not going there to shop, they're going there for a business meeting. And it speaks to the time poverty, especially amongst this group, because they are the online people. When they said, well, we usually go online, and when they go online, they go global. They go to Amazon, eBay. They don't go Kalahari and Zando. But when they're in the mall, it's like, well, I'm here now. So there's a lot of opportunistic shopping. So only 1% of the people who came for a business meeting just did the business meeting, which was very interesting because I need glasses, I need clothing, and they'll make use of that opportunity, which means they are not price sensitive at all. Because
look, I'm the sort of person that goes to a mall to buy something and ends up not buying it because I get bored, I can't find it, there's no assistance in the shop, which is one of my big things. Walk around looking for something, no one comes and says help. On the other hand, you can go there and there are these little things that you never thought you wanted, which you pick up. It strikes me always the chocolates and the sweets are at the till. So you're standing there waiting.
And you end up having one.
Impulse buy.
I mean, they're not stupid, aren't they? Does that fit into what you found out? Impulse buying?
And it matches research that we did last year, because last year you actually have to be in front of somebody. And people, because they're tired, their lives are busy, they don't want to have to look for stuff in your store. You know, it must leap out at you. Over-merchandising is the death of retail.
Kerry, I want to go back to this multi-purpose point that you've raised, that people are going to malls not only for shopping experiences. How should that change the business of malls and what they should be putting in terms of the kind of stores and the kind of services that one should have, considering the fact that going to the mall now is not just about picking up a pair of pants?
Yes. To that point, we found a big difference between what we called super regional malls, that's malls with a massive footprint like the one next door to where we are now, and malls which we called regional, which have a much more smaller catchment area. You go to the small mall because you want to run in and grab something, so they can't make use of this experience. Where your Santons, they're going, I'm going there for the experience. So they want a wide variety of shops, they want a wide variety of entertainment options, and they want options for their kids to do something, especially inland. In the coastal cities, particularly in the Western Cape, the mall isn't really an occasion. It's a duty. I need to go and do stuff, I need to buy stuff, and then I get out.
Why the difference between inland and coastal shoppers? I mean, I must admit, irrespective of where I am, I just want to buy stuff. So why the difference there?
Well, I mean, we suppose, when we looked at the data, that this is because in Cape Town, there's a lot of other things to do outside with your kids rather than in the mall. And the biggest area where the mall was a huge sense of activity was in Pretoria. And if you look at the time they spend in the mall, it was the longest. But in ratio to their spend, it was one of the lowest. So
if you want to be nasty about Pretoria, I mean, that proves that there's nothing to do in Pretoria except go to the mall. But
well, it's a mall city.
What about these it's sort of post-mall. It's going back partly to the old high street concept where you have a lot of shops together in a new development, but the parking is outside and you don't go into a mall, you go to the shops and they're all in a row like they used to be on Main Street.
Yes, well, we looked at the malls themselves, not the high street culture.
But that's coming in
Yes.
post-mall.
But there's a lot more high street culture in Joburg than there is in a city like Pretoria. Because even if you look at the traditional high street areas in Joburg, they're there for a long time and they're quite well established, whether it be Parkview or Parkhurst or those places where you can walk around.